How to see anyone's soul in seconds. I'm not speaking in poetry. I'm revealing something that can shake your very idea of what it means to know another human being. You think you know people because you've memorized their faces, their voices, their names. You think you can judge them by their behavior, their smiles, their words. But you have never really seen anyone. You have seen only their masks. To see someone's soul in seconds, it sounds like a miracle, but it is not. It is simply what happens when the dust of your own mind settles. The moment you are silent, truly silent, you begin to see. You see beyond the personality, beyond the performance, beyond the stories people tell about who they are. You begin to see the naked being behind the costume, and that moment changes everything. Most people live their whole lives surrounded by others, yet remain utterly alone, not because no one is around them, but because they are surrounded by shadows. They see only what their conditioning allows them to see. When you look at someone through the eyes of judgment, you see your judgments. When you look through fear, you see threats. When you look through desire, you see objects. But when you look without any motive, without any filter, when you look in pure awareness, you see the soul. And the strange thing is, you don't have to wait. You don't have to meditate for years or study scriptures. It can happen in an instant, in seconds. The only requirement is that you disappear. Your ego, your thoughts, your noise gone. Because the eyes that belong to the ego can only see surfaces. But the eyes of silence, they penetrate essence. So when I say, see anyone's soul in seconds, I am not teaching you a trick. I am pointing to a revolution in perception. I am saying, stop looking with your mind. The mind analyzes, compares, labels. It never sees. The mind is a marketplace, constantly noisy, filled with sellers and buyers, arguments and bargains. The soul cannot be seen in a marketplace. It is only revealed in a temple, and that temple is your inner stillness. Try it now. For a moment, drop everything you think you know. Look at someone, a friend, a stranger, a lover. Don't analyze them. Don't search for meaning. Just see. Don't even name what you see. Just be present, utterly present. In that moment, if your perception is silent enough, you will feel it. A vibration, a living pulse beyond personality. That is the soul. And once you have seen it even once, you can never go back to seeing the world the same way. But people are terrified of such seeing. Because if you can see another's soul, you can no longer lie to yourself. You will have to see your own. You will have to face the fact that you too are not what you pretend to be. And that is the beginning of transformation. Humanity lives in a masquerade. Everyone wears masks upon masks, social masks, moral masks, religious masks, and you have been so accustomed to these masks that the real face has become unrecognizable. To see someone's soul is to strip them naked of all identities. But remember, when you do that, your own masks will start to fall too. You cannot look deeply into another without being seen yourself. This is why most people avoid true intimacy. They talk endlessly, but never connect. They are afraid of the gaze that can see through them. They laugh, they flirt, they debate, but everything is a dance to avoid being transparent. Because transparency means vulnerability, and vulnerability means death for the ego. But if you can dare, if you can look into another without fear, without expectation, without wanting anything, you will see something extraordinary. You will see their innocence. Even the most corrupt, the most cruel, has a center of purity untouched by the world. That is the soul. It is never stained, it only gets buried. To see the soul of another, you must stop trying to see. You must become still like a mirror. The mirror does not select what to reflect. It simply reflects. The moment you become that mirror, you begin to see souls everywhere. In people, in trees, in rivers, in silence. Seeing the soul is not about effort, it is about absence. The absence of the observer, the absence of the analyzer, the absence of the you. And in that absence, for the first time, sight becomes revelation. You have been taught since childhood to look but not to see. Schools, religions, societies, they all train your eyes to serve the mind, not awareness. You have been told what to see, not how to see. You have been conditioned to perceive reality through filters of morality, of fear, of comparison. You look at someone and instantly categorize, beautiful or ugly, rich or poor, intelligent or foolish, friend or stranger. These labels appear faster than lightning. And by the time the label is there, the soul is gone. The soul hides behind speed. The faster your mind works, the less you perceive. To see someone's soul, you must slow down, so slow that time itself disappears. Then suddenly presence happens. In that stillness, your eyes stop being mechanical and become alive. Have you noticed how a child looks at the world? Completely open, without judgment. That is how you once saw. Before society educated you into blindness, when I look at a person, I do not see their name, their religion, their face, or their past. I see their being, their energy, their presence. I see the silence that lives behind their words. And sometimes, I see that the silence is lost, replaced by noise, ambition, desire. That is when I know this person has forgotten their own soul. Seeing the soul of another is easy. The real difficulty is bearing what you see. Because sometimes what you see will break your heart. You will look at someone and realize how far they have gone from themselves, how empty they have become. They move, they talk, they smile, but something essential is missing. Their eyes are windows without light. Their gestures are rehearsed. Their laughter echoes like an empty room. Most people are actors, and the tragedy is that they don't know they are acting. They have repeated their roles for so long that the mask has fused with the skin. They call the mask myself, so when you look at them and see through it, they feel naked, threatened. They will hate you for seeing their truth. That is why humanity crucifies those who can see, because the seer destroys illusion. If you truly want to see someone's soul in seconds, you must be ready for the cost. You will lose many relationships. You will no longer be able to participate in the games of pretense. You will not be able to gossip, to flatter, to manipulate, because these things require blindness. You will feel alone, not because you are isolated, but because you now see a different world. But this loneliness is sacred. It is not the loneliness of despair. It is the solitude of awareness. Only in this solitude can you truly see. You become like a mountain standing in the sky, untouched by the fog of society. And from that height, you begin to perceive the essence in all things. People ask me, Osho, what do you see when you look into someone's eyes? I tell them, it depends on how empty I am. Because the more empty I am, the clearer they become. If I look with desire, I project. If I look with anger, I distort. If I look with expectation, I manipulate. Only when I look with nothing, no motive, no emotion, no self, does seeing happen. That is the paradox. To see another's soul, you must disappear. Your very presence as an ego is the obstacle. When you look as you divide the world. Subject and object, observer and observed. But the soul can be seen only in oneness. When you are no longer the seer and the other is no longer the seen, a mysterious merging occurs. In that merging, sight becomes communion. Do not misunderstand me. This is not philosophy. It is an experiment. Try it with someone you love. Sit silently before them. Don't talk, don't touch, just look. Not with intensity, but with relaxation. Look as if you are gazing into infinity. Let your eyes rest upon their being without effort. And slowly, you will feel something rising between you. An invisible bridge of energy, of awareness. That is the soul revealing itself. It happens in seconds, but those seconds are eternal. Time disappears. Thought stops, and there is only presence. You are not two anymore. You are not even one. You are beyond counting, beyond separation, but this experience cannot be forced. If you try to see, you won't. The very effort becomes a wall. It is like trying to see your reflection in disturbed water. The more you stir it, the less you see. The seeing happens when the water is still, and for that stillness to come, you must become still. People come to me asking, how can I find God? And I tell them, stop searching for God. Start seeing souls. Because when you can see the divine spark in another, you are already looking at God. God is not somewhere in the sky. God is in the eyes of the one sitting before you. But you have been trained to look through your mind, so you see flesh, behavior, personality, and you miss the divine completely. Every face is a mask that hides infinity. Every smile conceals a silent scream. Every tear hides a hidden light. If you can see this duality, if you can look beyond appearances, then every encounter becomes sacred. A beggar, a criminal, a saint, all are mirrors reflecting the same source. To see the soul is not about morality or spirituality. It is about reality. The soul is not an idea. It is the living pulse behind existence. And when you see it, even for a fraction of a second, your entire relationship with life changes. Society has made you blind, and then it rewards you for your blindness. The more mechanical you are, the more the world calls you successful. The more artificial your smile, the more people say you are pleasant. The more you conform, the more they say you are good. But in all this goodness, you lose sight. You become efficient, functional, productive, and utterly dead inside. To see a soul, you must stop being what society calls normal, because normality is nothing but a refined form of madness. People move like programmed machines, following patterns without awareness. They love because they are told to love. They marry because they are told to marry. They believe because they are told to believe. And they never question. How can such eyes see? They only project. When you look at another human being, you don't actually see them. You see the movie your mind is playing on the screen of reality. You see your own fears, your own desires, your own conditioning. That is why you can look at the same person today and see beauty, and tomorrow see irritation. The person hasn't changed, you have. Your perception is colored by your inner weather. To see someone's soul in seconds, you must stop projecting your movie. You must switch off the projector and the mind. Then, for the first time, the screen becomes clear, and the other appears as they are. Naked, alive, divine. People talk endlessly about love, but very few have ever loved. Because love is impossible without seeing. When you cannot see a person's soul, you fall in love with their image, their personality, their performance. You fall in love with illusions, and illusions always disappoint. That is why your love turns into hate so easily, because when the illusion breaks, the mind feels betrayed. To see the soul is to love truly, because then you are not loving what someone does. You are loving what someone is. You are loving their essence, that which cannot be taken away. Such love is not dependent, not possessive, not needy. It is like the sun. It shines because that is its nature. But look at this world. People have replaced real seeing with screens, real connection with communication, presence with performance. We live in a digital illusion, constantly presenting edited versions of ourselves. You can spend years watching a person's life online and still not know who they are. You can live with someone for decades and still not have seen their soul once, because seeing requires silence, and this age is terrified of silence. People are afraid of looking, really looking, because seeing requires vulnerability. If you see deeply enough into another's eyes, you will start crying. Not because of sadness, but because of recognition. Something ancient awakens. You realize, this being before me is not separate from me. You see yourself reflected in them. And the ego collapses. The ego cannot survive true seeing. That is why the world keeps your eyes busy, with news, entertainment, politics, gossip. It keeps your attention fragmented, because if you were to look with totality, the whole structure of illusion would fall. A single moment of real seeing can destroy a lifetime of conditioning. That is why it is so dangerous and so liberating. When I say see anyone's soul in seconds, I am not giving you a spiritual trick. I am offering you death, the death of the false. Because to see another's soul, your false self must die first. The eyes of the ego cannot penetrate truth. They see surfaces, shapes, stories. The eyes of awareness see silence, light, eternity. This is why, in all ancient traditions, the eyes are sacred. In Zen, the master looks at the disciple in silence. No words, no gestures. And in that gaze, transmission happens. The soul of the master calls to the soul of the disciple, and something awakens. In India, they call it darshan, the blessed moment of seeing and being seen. But the meaning has been lost. People now go to temples to see the deity, but they look with the eyes of tourists, not with the eyes of presence. If you could look at a stranger in the street with the same reverence you bring to a temple, you would never be the same again, because the divine is hidden in ordinary eyes. The beggar, the driver, the lover, the enemy, each carries the same sacred flame, but your eyes are too distracted to notice the fire. The modern mind is blind because it never stops talking. It looks through layers of noise, opinions, memories, judgments, and thinks it is seeing. That is like trying to see the stars while standing under neon lights. The light of your own thoughts blinds you. Sometimes people tell me, Osho, when I look at people, I see nothing. I tell them, of course you don't, because you are full. Only the empty can see. Only the hollow can echo the divine. To see someone's soul is to live dangerously, because you will begin to see through the whole structure of society. You will see that politics, religion, morality, all are masks created to protect the fragile ego. You will see how people worship gods they don't understand, love partners they don't know, follow rules they don't question. And in that seeing, you will begin to laugh. Not a laughter of mockery, but of awakening. You will laugh at the absurdity of human blindness, and that laughter will be your first step toward freedom. Seeing another's soul in seconds is not a supernatural ability. It is your natural state, lost, forgotten, buried under centuries of conditioning. It is like polishing a mirror that has gathered dust over many lives. Once the dust is gone, the reflection is instant. To see the soul is not something you do. It is something that happens when you stop doing. You cannot force awareness, you can only allow it. You cannot make the sky appear by chasing the clouds away. You can only wait until the wind of silence clears them. Seeing is not an effort. It is surrender. This is why the mind fails, because it only knows how to do, how to achieve, how to control. The soul cannot be conquered. It reveals itself only to those who are humble enough to stop trying. You cannot command another's essence to show itself. You can only create the space where it may emerge. When I sit with someone, I do not try to see their soul. I simply sit in silence, present, without past, without future. I become a mirror. And inevitably, their essence begins to appear. Because every soul longs to be seen, it is starving for recognition. We live in a world where everyone wants to be admired, but no one wants to be seen. Admiration feeds the ego. Seeing nourishes the being. And most people are so hungry for admiration that they never receive the nourishment of being seen as they are. When you truly see someone, not their mask, not their achievements, not their body, when you see them, you give them the greatest gift. You remind them of their own divinity. But to do that, you must first have looked at yourself. You must have seen your own soul naked. You must have dared to meet yourself without judgment, without justification. Only then can you meet another, because if you are blind to your own essence, you will be blind to everyone else's. Look inside yourself, and you will discover that the same barriers that keep you from seeing others also keep you from seeing your own being. Your thoughts, your fears, your past, they stand between you and your essence. Every thought is a curtain, every fear, a veil, every belief, a wall. And the more beliefs you have, the less you can see. People call their beliefs vision, but beliefs are blindness disguised as clarity. To believe is to stop seeing. The moment you believe, you no longer look, you already know. And what you know becomes your prison. The real seeing begins only when you admit, I do not know. That moment of innocence opens your eyes. The first step towards seeing anyone's soul is to see through yourself. Sit silently and look inward, not with analysis, not with effort, just with attention. Watch your mind the way you would watch clouds drifting through the sky. Don't interfere, don't judge, don't identify. Slowly, the noise will begin to dissolve, and behind it you will feel a presence, a subtle, alive, aware. That is you, not the name, not the body, not the story, but the consciousness behind it. Once you have seen this in yourself, you can see it in anyone. The same flame burns in every being. The same silence hides behind every noise. It is like tuning into a frequency that was always there, but you were too distracted to hear it. And when you see the soul, you stop reacting. You cannot be angry at a soul. You can only be compassionate. You cannot envy a soul. You can only admire its beauty. You cannot harm a soul. You can only recognize yourself within it. Seeing destroys violence, because violence exists only between illusions. When illusion disappears, love becomes the only natural response. This is why I say, to see is to love, and to love is to see. They are two sides of one coin. If you cannot see, your love will be blind. If you cannot love, your seeing will be cold. Both are needed, the clarity of seeing and the warmth of love. You ask, how can I practice seeing? Stop practicing. Practice is the language of ambition, not awareness. Instead, learn to be. Sit with people and be silent. When someone speaks to you, don't listen with your mind. Listen with your whole being. Don't prepare answers, don't evaluate, don't react. Just absorb. Let their energy touch you without resistance. Soon you will notice a strange thing. The moment you stop reacting, you start perceiving. When you stop trying to understand, understanding blossoms. When you stop trying to connect, connection happens. Seeing anyone's soul in seconds is not about time. It's about timelessness. It's not about how long you look, it's about the quality of your looking. Even a single second of pure attention is eternity. You can walk among thousands of people every day and never see a single soul. And yet in one silent encounter, one genuine look, one moment of presence, you can touch infinity. That is the power of awareness. But beware. Once you start seeing, you can no longer pretend to be blind. You will no longer fit into the old world of masks. You will see the lies behind smiles, the fear behind authority, the emptiness behind success. And at first, this can feel painful. Awareness always begins as a kind of heartbreak, but that heartbreak is sacred. It is the breaking open of your perception, the cracking of your shell. When the shell breaks, light enters, and once light enters, darkness can never be the same again. You begin to walk through the world differently. You don't see crowds anymore. You see consciousness moving in countless forms. You don't see enemies or strangers. You see reflections. You don't see chaos. You see a dance. And in that seeing, peace happens. Not the peace of escape, but the peace of understanding. When you begin to see the soul, the entire fabric of life changes its texture. You no longer live on the surface. You no longer chase shadows. You begin to move through existence like a witness, not separate, not superior, but aware. Awareness transforms everything it touches. Even the most ordinary encounter becomes sacred. You may look at a stranger on the street and suddenly feel tears in your eyes, not out of sadness, but because for a fleeting second you have seen the divine disguised as human. And in that recognition, love happens without effort. To see anyone's soul in seconds is to awaken from the dream of separation. You realize that what you called others were never others. They were you in different mirrors, different forms, different costumes. And once you see this, compassion is no longer a choice, it becomes your nature. You cannot hate because hatred now feels absurd. You cannot manipulate because manipulation feels childish. You cannot lie because truth becomes the only language your being can speak. The very ground of your perception has shifted from mind to awareness, from illusion to reality. When you look into someone's eyes and see their soul, you are not discovering something new. You are remembering something ancient. You are remembering the unity that existed before words, before names, before the mind divided the world into me and you. That remembrance is enlightenment in its simplest form. But I must warn you, once you see, you can never unsee. The sleep of ignorance will not welcome you again. You will live in the same world, but everything will appear different. The noise will still be there, but now you will hear the silence beneath it. The chaos will still move, but now you will see its hidden order. People will still wear masks, but you will see the face beneath, and that sight will fill you with both laughter and compassion. There is great responsibility in seeing, because when you see someone's soul, you can no longer treat them as an object. You cannot use them, possess them, or control them. You can only honor them. Every interaction becomes a prayer, every look a meditation, every silence a communion. Seeing the soul is not an escape from the world. It is the ultimate engagement with it. Only now you participate consciously. You are no longer reacting from fear or desire. You are responding from awareness. Your actions become graceful, your words become fewer, your presence becomes powerful. That is what it means to live as a Buddha, not to withdraw from life, but to see life as it is. The Buddha does not look through the mind, he looks through being, and his seeing is his blessing to the world. If you truly want to see the soul of another, begin by allowing yourself to be seen. Drop your armor, drop your image, stop pretending. The moment you become transparent, the world becomes transparent too. Reality reflects you perfectly. It always has. You are only too busy creating fog to notice. Ask yourself now, when was the last time you really saw someone? Not looked, not judged, not compared, but saw. When was the last time you allowed another's presence to enter your heart without resistance? When was the last time you saw beyond the body, beyond the words, beyond the stories? If you cannot remember, then you have been asleep. But there is no need to feel guilty. Even your blindness was part of the dance. The moment you become aware of it, the eyes of your being begin to open. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the silence within you. That silence, that is your soul. It has always been here, watching, waiting. When you open your eyes again, carry that silence with you. Look at the first person you meet, a friend, a stranger. It doesn't matter. Look through your silence. Don't look at their face. Look into their being. Don't seek, just see. And if your eyes are clear enough, you will witness something miraculous, a spark, a light, a presence. It may last a second or less, but that second will be enough to reveal eternity. You will have seen a soul. That single glimpse can change your life. Because once you have seen even one soul, you begin to recognize the same light in everything, in laughter and tears, in creation and destruction, in birth and death. The whole existence becomes one living organism, breathing, pulsing, awake. So the question is not whether you can see anyone's soul. You already can. The question is whether you dare to, because to see is to die, and to die is to be reborn. When you see the soul of another, you are seeing the face of God reflected in human eyes, and in that reflection, you realize the greatest truth. There was never another. There is only one. Now look around you. Every face is a doorway. Every being is a mirror. Every encounter is an opportunity to wake up. The next time you look into someone's eyes, don't rush to understand them. Let them reveal themselves. Look without thought, without effort, without fear. If you can do that, even for 1 second, you will see what mystics, saints, and lovers have been trying to describe for centuries. You will see the eternal in the temporary, the infinite in the finite, the divine in the ordinary. You will see the soul, and once you see it, nothing else will ever satisfy you again. Because truth is addictive, and once you taste it, illusion loses its flavor. So remember, seeing the soul of another is not about technique, it is about being. The eyes are only tools. The real seeing happens from the heart. Let your seeing be filled with stillness, with love, with innocence. And then wherever you look, you will find the sacred staring back at you. Now go and look. Don't think, don't analyze. Just see. And in that seeing, awaken. If this moment has touched something inside you, it means the seeing has already begun. Let it grow, let it transform you. And remember, the soul you see in others is the same one that is looking through your eyes right now.